After the game, Dan Campbell said, I don't even know how to react to this. I'm in a twilight zone. I don't know what this is. And I think for most of us,
welcome.
We really
you just coaching for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean,
welcome.
For most of us, I didn't even know really how to feel after that game yesterday. Although, I mean, after the 44-6 loss blowout against the Eagles, getting booed off the field, having a bye week, I expected the Lions to play one of their best games, and I think they did that. And I do believe they deserved to win the game yesterday. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for their kicker, they would have done so despite the quarterback. Jared Goff is done. He cannot play here anymore unless
he was hurt.
Okay, he's hurt. If he's playing hurt, your backup must really be bad.
I can't answer that question. I don't know why they didn't take him out and give Blau a chance. He played with a lot.
He couldn't hand the ball off. That's all they were doing was handing the ball off.
He played with a lot of guts, and that play he made to Amon-Ra St. Brown, great pass, good completion, and they got down inside Steeler territory. Had a penalty, of course, very Lion-esque. But I want to welcome Dan Campbell to Detroit officially. You have been lionized.
I'm pretty sure the Baltimore Ravens game missed the 66-yard field goal by Tucker. I'm pretty sure that kind of lionized him and welcome. But if not, this definitely did. It's not the Twilight Zone. It's just Detroit. We asked the question early on in the season, and everybody said they don't feel like Detroit is cursed. Adam Baydoun went on a long rant, talking about on Morning Wood. No, they're not cursed. It's not about being cursed. What do you call it? What do you call it? The Detroit Lions. Like, I know we're joking. It's fun to have these conversations, but I mean, you look at what's happened over the career, like in the last decades with the Detroit Lions. It's always something. It's always something.
I don't know if it's a curse to.
Oh, it's a curse.
Well, look, I don't know if it's a curse. It's total malfeasance to not resign Matt Prater. That's number one.
Yep.
Like, if you think about that, that is just a poor decision. There's no curse that tells you you're doing the wrong thing by not signing one of the best players this franchise has had in the last 15 years.
But the Lions aren't the only team to not bring back someone.
No, I understand that, but
cut a corner. But they're the only ones that you see these things get really, really, really backed up into these situations where you're like, wow, what is this?
Listen, man,
Matt, go ahead.
Joey 2 times on our YouTube thread. He hit it on the head. The 3 guys that Brad Holmes has signed as a kicker replacement for Prater, you're paying him over $3 million. The 3 of them. They cut Bullock. He got $1.75 million. You signed what's his name? Siebert. And then you had to sign Bullock. I mean, whatever it is, Santoso off the freaking waiver wire to your practice squad. So add it all together, it probably comes up to $3 million.
Probably a little bit more than that as well. We talk about Jared Goff. Why was he in the game late? Lions head coach MCDC, Dan Campbell, talked about it.
Well, I think it was more that we all felt like he was good. He was good enough to go. I mean, from him, that's what I was just telling Justin. I mean, from him to Brunel, to the trainers, we all felt like, you know what, okay, he's good enough to stay in there, and so that's why I stuck with it. I mean, I have to go with my gut and look him in the eyes, and I have to listen to the opinion of our trainers. And if we feel like he can make it, he can make it.
But did you think you could win that game just running the ball without much of a passing game going?
Yeah, we should have. Mm-hmm. We didn't, but we should have.
Totally agree with Dan Campbell there. I don't know what all goes into seeing if Jared Goff is healthy enough to play. I mean, that's one thing, and I guess he made that decision. But the Lions, in running the football, 229 yards on the ground yesterday, they should have won the game. So if they do that, we're not all talking about this right now, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if they make an extra point, if they make a field goal in overtime, and how about the defense too, man?
They played really well.
How about the defense?
Yeah.
And
Lights out.
They caught a break yesterday without Ben Roethlisberger having to play. He's got COVID.
Minka Fitzpatrick, by the way, COVID positive today. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple Lions come up with COVID this week.
I hope not. At the end of the day, I think the way we need to look at this game is just like you said. The Lions did more than enough to win. They didn't get it done. The kicking game. This is something that we talked about early in the season. Why didn't you bring Matt Prater back? Then you bring in Austin Seibert. Now you bring in Santoso. Understood. Kicking game lost you the game yesterday. You did everything right. Defense played well. Then doesn't matter who was a quarterback, like you said. Doesn't matter. They play well. Running game. DeAndre Swift. It was great to see that going. We already know how we are at the quarterback position. It's tough. They're tough at the quarterback position, and not in a good way. So this is a game they should have won. They didn't. But it's another one of those heartbreakers.
There were some certain positives that came out of yesterday. And look, we talked about a guy in Penei Sewell so much over the course of the last 2 or 3 months. Penei Sewell played his tail off yesterday at right tackle. Lions got Taylor Decker back. Here's the Pro Football tweet. 29 pass blocking snaps, 0 pressures allowed, 0 sacks allowed. He was going up most of the game against T.J. Watt before T.J. Watt got hurt, and I think he's going to be out for a couple of weeks too, T.J. Watt. But nonetheless, Penei Sewell, his first start at right tackle, did a magnificent job. And if you can get – look, with no threat to pass the ball, especially in the second half, you've got Decker on the left side, Penei Sewell on the right side, and you don't even have Ragnow in there. I think you've got to at least feel good about what the Detroit Lions have done yesterday on their offensive line, in their run game. And if you're looking for baby steps, right? I mean, we're reacting to this thing as if it's, playoff in January. Right. I mean, all you can do is what you could do. They're not winning any games. You can take some positives out of this thing, and I do think you can look at that game yesterday, look at the defense, the offensive line, and feel pretty good about at least this football game that you just watched. Will that translate next week against the Browns? I don't know, but at least for 4 hours on one Sunday, they did pretty good.
Yeah, for those of you that are confused, because you did see that T.J. Watt had a sack. He got that on Taylor Decker yesterday. You're definitely seeing the future. You definitely see what it could look like. You bring in Ragnow next year to put him back at center, one of the best centers in the NFL. Taylor Decker's back. You see Penei Sewell. Penei's played left and played right, so he has experience on both sides this season. That moving into next year, man, that puts him into a nice position, especially when you see with 7 games left to go in the season, your boy DeAndre Swift is running like he's running 130 yards. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. So it's fun to watch the little things, because that's all we've been given.
That's exactly right.
That's all
Braylon.
We've been given is the little things. So if you pay close attention, there are little things there, and the little things are that offensive line definitely will have a chance to be really good next year. DeAndre Swift moving in the right direction, and it's the defense. Yep. And the defense. Look what Aaron Glenn has been able to do with this defense. He's had them play. Now, they've had 2 games where they definitely, they got blown out, and they didn't look right. But outside of that, being an understaffed NFL defense in terms of a team trying to get to the playoffs, in terms of trying to get, in the position you want to get to the Super Bowl, you're going to need more than what you have. But what you have so far this year, we've watched you, surprise us as Lions fans, as Lions analysts. We watched what you did against Baltimore. We watched what you did against the Vikings, the last game against Pittsburgh yesterday. So they've made some strides in the right direction. We just got to keep it going and see ultimately where it gets in December, January this year.
Braylon, defensively, this team not expected to do anything this year.
Not at all.
Probably expected to be a little bit worse than they were last year when they were like 31st in the league. Has held 3 playoff opponents in the Ravens, the Vikings. Actually, the Vikings are not a playoff opponent because they can't close out games, although they did win yesterday.
That's my team.
And they're kind of hovering there.
You can say playoff team because
I can say playoff contender.
They haven't lost by more than 4 points this
season. They're going to make it.
They could say I could say playoff contender. But the Ravens, the Vikings, and the Steelers under 20 points. That's pretty darn good. That's giving your team a chance to win right there. When you hold
2 on the road,
an NFL team, a playoff caliber teams like those 3 teams to under 20 points, you should win that game.
Not to mention what you did for basically 3 quarters, 3 1/4 quarters of the Green Bay game on the road in Green Bay. If you want to add that into for the mix and what they did there.
I want to bring up maybe the next time we come back here, we'll talk about the play calling.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go next. You'll hear what Dan Campbell said about taking over the play calling, and we'll hear from Corey Woods, an update from him as well, our Lions beat reporter out there in Allen Park. We'll do that all next. Braylon, Anthony Lynn, what do you make of all this? His play calling duties have been stripped. You played for him. We'll get your take as well. This is Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.